Hey everybody, we got a recent article from CNBC, Baltimore port crisis. You may have seen it. World's largest container ship company, world's largest MSC, dumps diverted cargo problem on U.S. companies. And this was to be expected, as when you were bringing this information on Squirrel Tribe, I mentioned how force majeure would be almost inevitable.
Mm-hmm. This is in relation to the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse in Baltimore.
So now we're seeing that play out with MSC. Mm-hmm. MSC being Mediterranean Shipping Company, and not MSC Cruises, which apparently MSC Cruises is pretty popular online for their cruises and their prices, or their ports, or their ships, or their destinations, or even the unfortunate situations of MSC employees recording women in the bathroom without their knowledge. But either way, be that as it may, we have this from CNBC, and I'll let you share. You don't have to read those, but I think it's a quick read on the article about what this means.
So according to this, MSC, the largest ocean carrier in the world, has joined the list of ocean carriers terminating the delivery of diverted containers outside of the port for shipping clients as a result of the container ship accident near the Port of Baltimore that led to the tragic bridge collapse. Again, that's the Francis Scott Key Bridge. With the Baltimore port indefinitely closed, the decision places the onus, is that how you say that? O-N-U-S? I've never heard or used that word before, so I'm not quite sure, but it says, with the Baltimore port indefinitely closed, the decision places the onus of cargo pickup at a diverted port and transport it to its final destination on the shipper. And I'm guessing onus means responsibility or something along those lines in context here. In an email to customers obtained by CNBC on Thursday, MSC explained that for customer containers already on the water bound for the Port of Baltimore, cargo will be rerouted and discharged in an alternate port where it will be made available for pickup. For these shipments, the contract of carriage will be declared terminated at this alternate port and storage. D&Ds and on-carriage costs to the initially intended destination will be for the sole cargo's account. This is from the MSC advisory. MSC added that the passage to and from Baltimore is at this time impossible and will not be reestablished for several weeks, if not months. Now, CMA CGM, COSCO, C-O-S-C-O, not Costco with the T, the shopping, and Evergreen were the first carriers to announce similar moves, and in some cases formally declare force majeure.
There's that term, force majeure.
Illegal, that's, the legal term?
Oh, go for it.
It's a legal term which refers to the right to waive contract duties when events beyond a party's control occur.
It's like kind of like a act of God clause in a contract. And it relieves them of any liability or risk or responsibility outside of what they agreed to originally, which was to manage the freight, the cargo, the transportation of these shipments.
The delivery.
At the Baltimore port. Now, in regard to the bridge being down for weeks or months, I'm kind of interested to see how long it will take, what the plan is going to be, and how quickly they're going to move, because I remember living through a bridge collapse in Atlanta not long ago and thinking about how bad that was going to be for traffic, and they had that thing back up. I mean, granted, I think they contacted the company that originally erected the overpass, that did the original construction, paid them out the ass to rush this job, and they got that bridge put back up in weeks.
With the amount of time it takes for concrete to cure, I was very surprised it was up and running as soon as it was.
They got it done fast.
Very quickly.
But that was Atlanta. That was Georgia. Different. Everything's different. And also the reasoning behind why that happened may be different. Granted, that one, they did say that there was some sort of fire, or some fire was started underneath the overpass by whomever, whatever. Whereas in Baltimore, some people are saying that the bridge exploded. But then I've also seen a video, I haven't watched it, but I saw the video exists of It was an expert on the subject matter expert about the whole thing. I need to watch that video.
Do you remember exactly what happened with you don't remember what happened with the Atlanta Bridge?
Are you asking or telling?
Asking, telling, because I remember they arrested a homeless man. They said started a garbage bin fire, if you will, which caused this whole entire thing, right? This one man with this one fire inside a garbage pail or garbage bin, they said started this whole fire. But what they forgot to mention to people in the very beginning, when this massive flames engulfed 85 and inevitably made it collapse, was that I think it was DOT had stored a ton of chemicals underneath this section of bridge. And so when this homeless man started a fire to keep himself warm, I don't know if a spark got out or what exactly happened, but that was the what started the main thing was his fire. But if all those chemicals had not been stored illegally underneath the bridge to begin with, there never would have been a collapsed 85 bridge.
So the video, we'll watch it later. We'll share it with you guys. But the video is titled "Expert Ships Engineer Reacts to Baltimore Bridge Crash." And yeah, I'd love to know what an expert thinks about this bridge collapse versus folks out there who try to create videos and circle portions of the video to tell you to look there because that's where it looks like the bridge exploded. I don't know. I wasn't there. Again, there's three sides to every story. But more importantly is what Michelle's about to tell you from all the carriers who have terminated and who have utilized this force majeure.
Sorry, I'm watching the bee that just flew into our apartment because we have the door open. And I'm like, don't sting me.
And utilizing this opportunity.
He's swatting at it with my sweatshirt. Now you're going to get stung.
Where'd it go?
I don't know.
This opportunity for force majeure. And continue reading.
So I would like to point out that force majeure is probably going to be implemented in a lot more contracts since March 2020, when a lot of people got screwed in their contracts over those years because they didn't have force majeure in the contract because it wasn't really something that people foresaw being a necessity. And then everything happened the last couple of years. You know what I'm saying? Now, according to this,
not to cut you off, but these things like this, they'll happen faster. Mm-hmm. Because they've been down that road before, and they're not going to waste any time. They're not going to delay.
I mean, it's been a couple of days, and they're already like, nope, we're not doing this force majeure.
No. When was this published?
I don't know when it was published.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they as soon as they got word, the attorneys, the lawyers, they were on it, and they got this out before end of business Friday.
Mm-hmm. Now it says here. MSC said in its customer communication that it apologizes for the disruption caused by this contingency plan, which is required in response to events beyond our control, but which is taken in compliance with the terms of the contract of carriage. MSC did not immediately respond to CNBC's request for comment. They generally do not. Maersk is the only major.
This is really important what she tells you right here.
Maersk, I think is how you say it, is the only major carrier to say it will provide transport from diverted ports for customers. Now, if you've seen the pictures, the containers on that Dolly ship were, I would say 99% of them were labeled by Maersk. Is that how you say it? Maersk were labeled with them. It was their containers, right? Maersk was the charter of the Dolly, 10,000 container capacity container ship that lost control and crashed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge in the early hours of Tuesday morning. After the pandemic boom, which led to historic profits, ocean carriers have been through a period of financial and operational challenges with vessel overcapacity, declining earnings, and the Red Sea Houthi attacks and Panama Canal drought, leading to costly diversions from major globe trade routes.
So in essence, my opinion here, take it for what it's worth, is Maersk has to manage this situation properly with this damage control, seeing as how they caused the damage. And for them to create this problem and then to tell all of their customers that they're going to have to foot the bill for the disruption that they essentially caused would ultimately be like shooting themselves in the foot. So it would be business, the S word. Mm-hmm. And I think that they have to do this. Mm-hmm. Everyone else can pull out, and they have, and they will. But Maersk can't.
They can't, because even though it wasn't their ship, technically they don't own that container ship. They are the ones who did charter it. It was their money that was being used to move it. There was their containers on it. So if they had not, rented, I guess, this container ship, none of this would have happened, is what it comes down to.
Think about it. We've talked about boycotts here recently a lot from a variety of different companies and businesses. How would you respond as a customer when the company that you are paying to do a job does it wrong or causes a problem and then makes it your problem? You will no longer be their customer. Mm-hmm. You will boycott them. And so they know that, and because they are the biggest name, closest tied to it, and ultimately have the biggest exposure and the biggest risk, they have to manage a situation like this because they have no other choice, really. Mm-hmm. As far as the choices go, managing risk, increase cost, well, this is just going to increase volume at various other ports. This may not necessarily produce any additional gains for the employees, as they are probably hourly wage, so it is what it is, maybe some union wage. However, for the hauling of the freight from that point, well, there's an opportunity, mm-hmm. especially over the road. Mm-hmm. And so, rail, that's different, but truck drivers, owner-operators, maybe even hot shots, this is an opportunity. Mm-hmm. But beware, because the freight brokers, they're not going to want you to know that. Yeah. They're going to pretend like it
regular everyday shipping, and it's not.
And they're really and truly the brokers. I don't need to tell the brokers. The brokers already know that they're going to make the most money out of this entire deal. Yep. But be that as it may, that's what's to be expected. And no matter what, the delays and the added costs will eventually translate and show themselves in the stores, on the shelves, or not, technically. Mm-hmm. If not already, as they will begin to prepare for that. Maybe by even strategically manipulating the stock that they do have to create some form of perceived shortage or risk of FOMO, and increase the prices while also rationing their inventory and supply until they can get more, in addition to the rapidly approaching in T-minus 8 days and counting solar eclipse, which has already created state of emergency declarations preemptively in advance ahead of the actual event. Mm-hmm. On top of already being told that there would be disruptions in food and water and fuel and cell service and all these other things.
All the influx of people.
But these are just like we focus on breaking news and headlines and urgent and just, minutes ago to keep us in the know and informed and planning and preparing. They do the same thing from the perspective of, okay, how can we increase our profit and fatten our bottom line because of this? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not really, it's frowned upon to, make money from a crisis, but making money during a crisis.
What is that called? Price gouging?
It's called good business.
So when you were saying earlier how Maersk has to step up and do these things because although technically it's not their ship, not their whatever, without them being part of it, it never would have happened. It literally makes me think of, what happened in East Palestine, Ohio with Norfolk Southern. Norfolk Southern's train on those tracks, if the train had not been on those tracks in that area and the Atlanta hub office had not said to ignore the overheating sensor that was going on, there wouldn't have been a derailment. However, everything that happened after that was not on Norfolk Southern. That was on the governor and the mayor and the subsequent release of the chemicals, lighting on fire of chemicals, everything else. Yet Norfolk Southern is paying billions of dollars to clean it all up and pay for the people because they know they have to. Even though it's not technically, at the end of the day, their fireball, they know they have to pay for it.
Yeah, well, yeah, but who stands, who whenever anything like this happens, you got to think, who stands to lose the most and who stands to gain the most. Okay. And I think Norfolk Southern is both.
Yeah.
Like they're literally both. And DeWine doesn't care, doesn't matter. Biden, same deal.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the people of the area stood to lose the most, no matter what. There was no gain there. No matter what, there was no gain, in my opinion, like at all. But these are just warning signs. These are triggers. These are key indicators. These are things that are actually happening right now. And I don't think that these things are fabricated or exaggerated or manipulated or altered in any way to make you believe something that isn't true. The simple fact of the matter is that these companies are executing on a force majeure legally within their rights in contract, and that will have a trickling effect that we will all see and feel and experience in some way, shape, or form. What that is, well, I'll keep an eye on it. She'll keep an eye on it, and we'll keep you guys in the loop. Thanks for watching.
Okay, bye.